Did you know that the average person eats over 12 pounds of chocolate each year? Now, we all love chocolate, but how much do we really know about it besides the fact that it's super delicious? There's a lot of things that you probably don't know about chocolate, such as like how it's made, what makes it so popular, and could it actually be good for you? I would like to take you on a short chocolate history tour to inform you about some of these facts. Let's start about 4,000 years ago. The Aztecs came up with the word chocolate, and it means bitter water. Now, as you can probably imagine, it was not very sweet snack, but they still really liked it. In fact, an Aztec leader named Montezuma had about 3 gallons of it every day. The Aztecs and the Mayans believed that this bitter water held mystical properties. But chocolate originated a long time before this. According to an article on History.com, anthropologists have found evidence of chocolate production as early as 1900 BC. The ancient Mesoamericans first cultivated, harvested, roasted these beans, and then they ground them into a paste. They then added this paste into water and mixed it with spices. But never sugar. They never added sugar to this. You have to add the sweet stuff to make chocolate more delicious. The Spanish were the first ones to do this. When they invaded Mexico and they took over Mexico, they added cinnamon and sugar to this bitter water. And then they brought it back to Europe, and it became a drink for the very, very rich. Then, in 1828, a Dutch chemist invented the cocoa press. The cocoa press was able to squeeze the fatty butter out of the roasted beans and make it into a powder. This led the way for inventors such as Cadbury, Mars, and Hershey's to mix this powder with milk and sugar and other things to make the chocolate bars that we know of today. On foodnetwork.com, in the Food Encyclopedia, it shows how this complicated process comes to be. First you have to ferment the beans and then dry it and then roast it, and then you have to crack it and remove the nibs, which are the inside of the bean. You then dry this liquor and ground it into a powder, or you heat it for 12 to 72 hours. You add butter and other ingredients to make it really smooth. Depending on the ingredients you add determines what type of chocolate you get. If you add like no sugar, you get dark chocolate. If you add a little bit of sugar, you get semi-sweet chocolate. If you add milk and sugar, you get milk chocolate. And then white chocolate is not actually chocolate at all because it doesn't have any of this dried liquor. Even though the bean itself tastes terrible, it's actually a really valuable crop. It has been historically used for trade and bartering, and the Aztecs couldn't grow it themselves, so they would trade a lot of stuff with the Mayans to get these valuable beans. Christopher Columbus, on his travels, he noticed that the indigenous people, when they dropped these beans, they would meticulously go around and pick them up, and he couldn't understand why these little beans were so valuable to them. What he didn't understand is this is like dropping your wallet. Like, you would definitely want to pick up all of the money you dropped, right? Because they use these beans as basically their currency. Even today, this chocolate is a valuable commodity. According to chocolate.com, the chocolate industry has gained $82 billion in 2014 alone. In BuzzFeed, an article by James Gervey, it says some of the other ways that chocolate has been used as a valuable commodity in history. In the Revolutionary War, they actually paid soldiers in chocolate sometimes. Another example is the inventor of the chocolate chip cookie, Ruth Wakefield. She traded in her recipe for the chocolate chip cookie to Nestle in exchange for a lifetime supply of chocolate. And finally, it takes a year for the cocoa tree to produce enough pods to make only 10 Hershey's bars. Now, not that any of us would eat 10 Hershey bars at a time, but if we did, would it be that bad for us? Chocolate can actually be healthy, in moderation. Chocolate contains many beneficial chemicals. An exploratory article study found that compounds in chocolate prevent fat-like substances from thickening and clogging the arteries. Also, it is shown that a chemical in chocolate acts as a brain stimulant, so it makes your brain more alert. Scientists are still studying the over 300 chemicals in chocolate, and it is believed that it can act as an antidepressant. I know from personal experience that chocolate acts as an antidepressant for me. Some of the criticisms about chocolate are untrue, like some of these things that we've been led to believe. They don't actually cause acne, and it doesn't give you any more cavities than any other sugary substance, and it can actually prevent plaque from building. Now you won't feel too bad about eating chocolate, and I bet you know more about chocolate than you did before this speech. Chocolate has an amazingly rich history. It's amazing that something that was so bitter could become such a valuable commodity and could actually be good for you. Next time you eat it, remember some of these facts, but don't think too much about it because chocolate is meant to be eaten, not thought about. And now I have some chocolate, a different assortment of chocolates that you guys can try to find out which one's your favorite.